Tell me when we're live, okay?
3, 2, 1.
Good morning, devotees. Welcome to morning class, Sri Caitanya Saraswat Mission in Salt Lake City, Utah. We are reading from Sri Caitanya Bhagavata by Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur. We're in Adi Kanda, Chapter 1. Adi Kanda, Part 1, Chapter 1. So right now we're going over the summary descriptions of the different khandas, the Adi Kanda, the Madhya Kanda. Currently he's describing in summary, and then he will describe the Ansha Kanda, also called the Shesha Kanda. Madhya Kanda Dui Prabhu Chaitanyani Tai Nachilena Shiva Sangane Ekatani. In the Madhya Kanda, the two lords, Chaitanya and Nityananda, danced together in the house of Srivas Thakur. Of course, I forgot to offer my respects to Gurudev, so I will do that now. Om Jnana Timrandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chakshur Maitanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Purvabhishta Suparakam Guru Ganera Shisha Sambhushitam Chincha Samashtaveda Nipunam Shri Rupa Pantanugam Govinda Vidamujvalam Bharatanam Bhakti-amitam Sundaram Vande Vishwagaruncha Divya Bhagavat Premnohi Bija Pradam Vanchakalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Pacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, we're on text 147. Madhya Kande Shiva Sera Mrita Putra Mukhe Jiva Tattva Kahaja Kuchaila Duke. In the Madhya Kanda, the Lord induces Srivasa's dead son to speak on the science of the soul, thus destroying everyone's sorrow. Chaitanyara Anugrahe Srivasa Pandita Pasarila Putra Shoke Jagate Vidita. By the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, Srivas Thakur gave up lamentation over his son's death. This incident became known to all. The Lord helped the relatives of Srivas mitigate their distress of separation by inducing Srivasa's dead son to describe the living entity's transmigration from one body to another. Madhya Kande Gangaya Padila Dukapaya Nityananda Haridasa Anila Tuliya. In the Madhya Kanda, the Lord, in distress, jumped into the Ganges, and Nityananda and Haridas pulled him out. You can hear in the kitchen?
Yeah.
Okay. Madhya Kande Chaitanyara Avashesha Patra Brahmara Durlabha Narayani Paila Matra. In the Madhya Kanda, Narayani received Lord Chaitanya's remnants, which are rarely attained by even Lord Brahma. So, let's see. Sriman Mahaprabhu is the supreme absolute truth. His remnants are rarely attained by even Lord Brahma, who is the first created being of the universe. Narayani Devi, the niece of Srivas, was fortunate to receive those remnants. The son of this Narayani Devi, Vrindavan Das Thakur, is the author of this book. So she was a girl when just a small girl when Mahaprabhu was visiting her father's house, and she received the remnants of the Lord and was a great devotee, and later she became the mother of Vrindavan Das Thakur. Madhya Kande Sarva Jiva Udara Karune Sanyasa Karite Prabhu Karila Gamane. In the Madhya Kanda, the Lord leaves home and accepts sannyas in order to deliver the living entities. Kirtana Kariya Adi Avadi Sannyasa E Hoite Kahi Majja Kandera Vilasa. The pastimes of the Majjakanda begin with the Lord's Kirtan and end with his acceptance of sannyas. Majjakande Ache Ara Katakoti Lila Vedavyasa Varnibena Se Sakala Kela. There are millions of other pastimes in the Majjakanda that will be described in the future by Srila Vyasadeva. Sheshakande Vishvambara Karela Sannyasa Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nama Tabe Parakasha. In the Anchakanda, after Vishvambara takes sannyas, he becomes known as Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Sheshakande Shuni Prabhura Shikara Mundana Vishtara Karila Prabhu Advaita Krandana. In the Anchakanda, Advaita Prabhu cries profusely upon hearing that the Lord has shaved his sika and hair. Sheshakande Shachi Dukha Akatya Katana Chaitanya Prabhave Sabara Rahila Jivana. In the Anchakanda, Sachi Devi's lamentation is indescribable, and the devotees remained alive only by the influence of Sri Chaitanya. Mother Shachi, Vishnupriya Devi, and the devotees were able to tolerate indescribable distress due to separation from Mahaprabhu only by his mercy. Thus they were able to pass their lives in the service of Lord Krishna. Because up to that point they had been with him, he was Sachi Devi's son and all those beautiful childhood pastimes, and then the youthful pastimes in Navadip, up to when then he was married to Vishnupriya. So there was so much love and attachment, but of course spiritual divine attachment. But when he went to take sannyas, of course he had to leave his family, leave his mother, and left Navadip, and so it was very, very painful for everyone. So there was this separation that everyone felt. Shesha Kande Nityananda Chaitanya Radanda Bhagilena Balarama Parama Prachanda. In the Anchakanda, the most powerful Sri Nityananda Ram breaks Lord Chaitanya's sannyas danda. Shesha Kande Gorachandra Giya Nilachale Apanare Lukai Rahila Kutuhali. In the Anchakanda, Lord Gauranga arrives in Nilachala and hides himself. Nilachala is also called Sri Kshetra or Purushottama. Sundarachala mountain is situated near Nilachala. The word Achala means mountain. Sarvabhauma Pratyage Kari Parihasa Shesha Sarvabhaumere Sad Bhuja Parakasha. At first, the Lord teases Sarvabhauma, but later he displays his six-armed form to him. Shesha Kande Prataparudreda Paritrana Kashi Mishra Grete Karila Adhishtana. In the Anchakanda, the Lord delivers Maharaj Prataparudra and resides in the house of Kashi Mishra. Maharaj Prataparudra was the king of Utkala, Orissa, and belonged to the Ganga dynasty. The Lord freed him from material life and brought him into the kingdom of Krishna's worship. The family priest of this emperor was Kashi Mishra, and it was in his house that the Lord used to live. The house of Kashi Mishra is situated between the temple of Lord Jagannath and the ocean. So when we go to Nilachala or Jagannath Puri, we can visit this place, and also we have a temple there, and the deities are that Srila Gurudev installed are Shri Nitai Caitanya Dev. Damodara Swarupa Paramananda Puri Sheshakande Edui Sange Adhikari. In the Anchakanda, the two great authorities, Swarup Damodar and Paramananda Puri, reside with the Lord. Sheshakande Prabhu Puna Oila Goda Deshe Mathura Dekiba Bale Ananda Visheshe. In the Anchakanda, the Lord returns to Bengal while traveling in ecstasy to see Mathura. The word Goda Desha in this verse refers to Sri Navadip and the places north of Navadip, such as Ramakeli, the site of Dabir Akash and Shakar Malik's office, and the capital of the king of Goda, which is the present-day district of Malda. Ashiya Rahila Vijavachaspati Gare Tabeta Aila Prabhu Kulia Nagare. On the way, the Lord happily stays at the house of Vijavachaspati before going on to Kulia. Vijavachaspati is the son of Maheshwara Visharada and the brother of Vasudeva Sarvabhauma. It appears that the village of Vicharanagara was named after him. The place known as Kulia Nagara is now the city of Navadip. Another name for this area is Koladweep. It is the fifth of the 9 islands of Navadip and is situated on the western side of the Ganges. And this is also where Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat is located, in Koladweep. Ananta Arbuda Loka Gela de Kibare Sheshakande Sarvajiva Paila Nishtare. In the Anchakanda, innumerable people go to see the Lord and are thus delivered. Sheshakande Madhupuri Dekita Kaliya Kato Duragiya Prabhu Nivrita Hoila. In the Anchakanda, the Lord goes to see Mathura, but he returns after going part way. In his desire to visit Mathura, the Lord went up to Kanai Natashala, near the town of Rajmohala, and then returned to Nilachala. Shesha Kande Puna Ailena Nilachale Niravati Bhaktasange Krishna Kolahali. In the Anchakanda, the Lord returns to Nilachala and engages in discussing topics of Krishna with the devotees. Godadesha Nichinanda Swarupe Patana Rahilena Nilachale Katu Janulano. The Lord sends Nityananda Swarup to Bengal and stays himself in Nilachala with a few devotees. Sheshakande Ratera Samukha Bhakta Sange Apane Karila Nritya Apanararange. In the Anchakanda, the Lord enjoys his pastime of dancing with the devotees before Lord Jagannath's chariot. Sheshakande Setubande Gela Gororai Jarikanda Diyapuna Gela Maturai. In the Anchakanda, Lord Gauranga goes to Rameshwara and later travels again to Mathura through the Jarikanda forest. Sheshakande Ramananda Rayara Udara Sheshakande Mathuraya Aneka Vihara. In the Anchakanda, the Lord delivers Ramananda Roy and performs various pastimes in Mathura. Ramananda Roy was the governor of Kalinga under the rule of Maharaja Prataparudra, the independent king of Orissa. He was the eldest of Bhavananda Patanayaka's 5 sons. He wrote the drama Jagannath Vallabha Nataka, and he was a most intimate devotee of the Lord. Throughout South India, there was no other unalloyed devotee of Krishna in the Raga Marga comparable with him. Sheshakande Shri Gora Sundara Maheshaya Dabira Kasera Prabhu Dila Parichaya. In the Anchakanda, Lord Gorasundar reveals himself to Dabir Kash. Dabir Kash is the Mohammedan name of Srila Rupa Goswami. He was born in a Karnataka Brahmin family. His father was Kumaradev. His elder brother was Sanatana Goswami, and his younger brother was Sri Vallabha or Anupama. The Lord gave him the name Sri Rupa, by which he became famous in the society of devotees. Prabhu Chini Dui Baira Banta Vimochana Sheshanama Tuilena Rupa Sanatana. The two brothers achieve liberation by recognizing the Lord, and they become known as Rupa and Sanatan. Shesha Kande Gorachandra Gela Varanasi Na Paila Dekayata Nindaka Sanyasi. In the Anchakanda, the Lord goes to Varanasi, where the blasphemous sannyasis cannot recognize him. The ancient city of Varanasi is inhabited by highly learned scholars and situated on the banks of the Ganges. It is also inhabited by many Mayavadi sannyasis of the Manas school who criticize the devotees and devotional service. Because they criticize the devotees and devotional service, these Mayavadi sannyasis are known as Nindaka or blasphemous sannyasis. Shesha Kande Puna Nila Chale Agamana Aharnisha Karilena Hare Sankirtana. In the Anchakanda, the Lord again returns to Nilachala and engages day and night in Sankirtan. Hare Sankirtan refers to a group of many devotees offenselessly chanting together the names and glories of the Supreme Lord Hari. Sheshakande Nityananda Katika Divasha Karilena Pritivite Paryatana Rasa. In the Anchakanda, Lord Nityananda travels throughout India as a wandering mendicant. Ananta Karitra Keha Bhujita Napare Charanenu Pura Sarva Mathura Vihare. No one can understand Lord Nityananda's unlimited characteristics as he wanders about Mathura with ankle bells on his feet. Sheshakande Nityananda Panihati Grame Caitanya Ajnai Bhakti Karilena Dane. Sheshakande Nityananda Mahamala Rai Banikare Udarila Paramakripai. In the Anchakanda, the commander-in-chief of the Kirtan party, Lord Nityananda, delivers the merchant community. Sheshakande Gorachandra Mahamaheshwara Nilachale Vasha Astadasa Samvatsara. In the Anchakanda, the Supreme Lord Sri Gorachandra resides in Nilachala for 18 years. Sheshakande Chaitanyara Anatavi Lasha Vishtariya Varnita Achena Veda Vyasa. The unlimited pastimes of Sri Chaitanya in the Anchakanda will be described by Vyasadeva in the future. Yete Mate Chaitanyara Gaite Mahima Nityananda Pritibada Taranahi Simha. If one somehow or other glorifies Lord Chaitanya, then Lord Nityananda becomes unlimitedly pleased with them. Dharani Dharendra Nityananda Racharana Deha Prabhu Gorachandra Amare Sevana. O Lord Gorachandra, please allow me to serve the feet of Nityananda Prabhu, who, as Ananta Shesha, holds all the universes on his heads. The word Dharani Dharendra refers to the Lord of Shesha, who supports the universe. In other words, Sri Balaram Nityananda is the source of all Purusha avatars. Eta kahilun shutra shangshepa kariya tina kande arambira ihai gaiya. In these sutras, I have thus briefly described the contents of this book. Now I will begin to narrate these three divisions of pastimes. Adikanda katabai shuna ekachite Sri Caitanya avatirna hoila inamate. My dear brothers, please now hear attentively the topics of Adikanda regarding the appearance of Lord Chaitanya. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Chanda Jana Vrindavana Dasa Tacha Padayuga Gana. Accepting Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Prabhu as my life and soul, I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of their lotus feet. Thus ends the English translation of the Gaudiya Bhashya of Sri Caitanya Bhagavata, Chapter 1, entitled Summary of Lord Gaura's Pastimes. Okay, so I will begin Chapter 2, the Lord's Appearance. This chapter describes the appearance of the Lord's elders and eternal associates by the desire of the Lord. The godless atmosphere of Navadip, Sri Advaita. Okay, let's see. Okay, that's one paragraph and it's one sentence. So I'll try to read it again. This chapter describes the appearance of the Lord's elders and eternal associates by the desires of the Lord. The godless atmosphere of Navadip, Sri Advaita Prabhu's worship of Krishna with water and tulsi leaves, the appearance of Sri Nityananda on the 13th day of the waxing moon, the prayers offered by the demigods to the Lord in the womb, the appearance of Sri Gaurachandra on the full moon night of the month of Falguna, amidst the congregational chanting of the holy names, and the joyful celebration of the Lord's appearance. So it's just a list. Okay. The science of the Supreme Lord and his various incarnations is difficult to understand. What to speak of ordinary living entities, even Lord Brahma cannot fathom this science without the mercy of the Lord. The statement of Lord Brahma in the Śrīmad Bhagavatam is the evidence in this regard. Although the cause of the Supreme Lord's appearance is most confidential, the statements of Bhagavad Gita reveal that Lord Vishnu appears in every millennium in order to protect the pious people, deliver the miscreants, and re-establish the principles of religion. Therefore, the author has pointed out that the chanting of the holy names of Krishna is the religious principle for the age of Kali. Sri Gaurahari has appeared along with his abode, Sri Navadip, to propagate this Yuga Dharma. The author also explains that by the will of the Lord, great devotees and eternal associates such as Ananta, Shiva, and Brahma appear prior to the Lord in various impious families and impious places where the Ganges does not flow, and the holy names are not chanted. In this way, such families and places were purified. The author also describes how after the appearance of Sri Gaurahari, his associates joined him in Navadip to assist in his Sankirtan movement. At the time of the Lord's appearance, Sri Navadip was most prosperous. Millions of people took bath at each of the bathing ghats on the Ganges. By benedictions of Saraswati and Lakshmi, the residents of Navadip were absorbed in scholastic pursuits and material enjoyment. But there was ample evidence of people's aversion to Lord Krishna. Although it was the beginning of Kali Yuga, people exhibited the behavior foretold for the future of the age. People considered their religious duty was to worship demigods such as Mangalachandi, Vishahari, and Vasuli. They thought the purpose of having money was to spend it for enjoying the marriage of their sons and daughters or the marriage of idols. Since the so-called Brahmins and scholars maintain the ass-like mentality of accepting only the gross meaning of the scriptures without understanding the actual purport, When they tried to teach their students, both teachers and students were bound by the ropes of Yamaraj and led to hell. Even the so-called austere renunciates did not chant the names of Hari. Everyone was maddened with pride on account of their high birth, opulence, knowledge, and beauty. At that time, Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu, along with pure devotees like Srivas, loudly chanted the names of Lord Hari. But people who were averse to the Lord continually harassed and teased the non-envious pure devotees. When the compassionate Sri Advaita Prabhu saw people's extreme aversion to Krishna, When the compassionate Sri Advaita Prabhu saw people's extreme aversion to Krishna cause great distress to the devotees, he began to worship Krishna with water and tulasi with a vow to bring about the advent of Krishna. Before the advent of Lord Gaurahari, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, who is non-different from Lord Baladev, the elder brother of Krishna, appeared from the womb of Padmavati, the wife of Hadai Pandit, in the village of Ekachakra in Radhadesh on the 13th day of the waxing moon in the month of Magha. Meanwhile, in Navadip, Sri Vishwarup Prabhu, who is non-different from Nityananda Prabhu, appeared as the son of Shachi and Jagannath. After their many daughters had met early deaths. A few years after the advent of Sri Vishwarup, Sri Gaurahari, the original personality of Godhead, appeared in the hearts of Sri Sachi and Jagannath, who were non-different from Devaki and Vasudeva. Understanding this, the demigods offered prayers to Lord Sri Gaura Krishna, the supreme absolute truth and source of all incarnations, who was situated within the womb of Sachi. Sri Gaurachandra, the inaugurator of the Sankirtan movement, appeared during an eclipse on the full moon night in the month of Falguna, as everyone engaged in the congregational chanting of the names of Hari. This chapter ends with the jubilant celebration of the Lord's advent, accompanied by the chanting of auspicious hymns and the demigods' visit to the house of Sachi in the form of human beings. Text 1. Jaya Jaya Mahaprabhu Gaura Sundar, Jaya Jagannatha Putra Mahamaheshwara. All glories to Mahaprabhu Sri Gaura Sundara. All glories to the son of Jagannath Mishra, the Lord of all lords. Jaya Nityananda Gadadhara Rajivana. Jaya Jaya Advaitadi Bhaktara Sharana. All glories to the life and soul of Nityananda and Gadadhar. All glories to the shelter of the devotees headed by Advaita Prabhu. Sri Gadadhar Pandit Goswami was the foremost amongst Mahaprabhu's intimate devotees. As he is the origin of the Shakti Tattva, he was present in the Lord's pastimes at both Navadip and Nilachala. He lived first in Navadip and later he lived as a Kshetra sannyas in a sub-forest near the ocean of Nilachala. The pure devotees who worship the sweet feature of Sri Sri Radha Govinda take shelter of Gadadhar and thus become known as intimate devotees of Sri Gaura. Those who are not enthusiastic to worship the sweet feature of the Lord perform devotional service under the shelter of Nityananda Prabhu. Some of Gaura's devotees, like Sri Narahari, were followers of Sri Gadadhar Pandit, who had taken shelter of Gadadhar. Under the consideration, these sentences sometimes are hard to follow. Those who are not enthusiastic to worship the sweet feature of the Lord perform devotional service under the shelter of Nityananda Prabhu. Some of Gaura's devotees, like Sri Narahari, were followers of Sri Gadadhar Pandit, who had taken shelter of Gadadhar under the consideration that Sri Gaura Sundar was his only worshipable Lord. Some people call Sriman Mahaprabhu the life and soul of Nityananda, and some people call him the life and soul of Gadadhar. Sri Guru Sundar was also the lord of both Sri Advaita Prabhu, the incarnation of Mahavishnu, and Srivas Pandit, the incarnation of Narada. The Panchatattva has thus been described in this way. Sri Guru Sundar is the form of a devotee. Sri Nityananda is the expansion of a devotee. Sri Advaita is the incarnation of a devotee. Sri Gadadhar is the energy of the Lord, and Srivas is the pure devotee. Sri Gora enjoys pastimes in these 5 features. Bhakta Goshti Sahita Gauranga Jaya Jaya Shunila Caitanya Kata Bhakti Labhahaya. All glories to Lord Gauranga along with his associates. By hearing the topics of Sri Chaitanya, one attains devotional service to the Lord. Puna Bhakta Sanghe Prabhu Pade Namaskara Spuruka Jivaya Gora Chandra Avatara. I again offer my obeisances at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya and his devotees. Let the topics of Sri Gaurachandra become manifest on my tongue. Jaya Jaya Shri Karuna Sindhu Gaurachandra Jaya Jaya Shri Seva Vigraha Nityananda. All glories to Sri Gaurachandra, the ocean of mercy. All glories to Nityananda Prabhu, the personification of devotional service. Seva Vigraha. Seva Vigraha Nityananda, the personification of devotional service. Sri Gaurahari is an ocean of mercy. Sri Krishna Das Kaviraj has described him in the Caitanya Charitamrita as follows. If you are indeed interested in logic and argument, kindly apply it to the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If you do so, you will find it to be strikingly wonderful. Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhu has also offered his obeisances to the Lord and glorified him as Mahavadanyaya, the most magnanimous, and Krishna Prema Prada, the bestower of love of Krishna. Lord Sri Krishna, the personification of Madhurya Leela, or sweet pastimes, has displayed Audarya Leela, or magnanimous pastimes, in his Gora pastimes. Sri Nityananda Prabhu is the personification of service, being a servant of Sri Gora Sundar, who is the supreme worshipable Lord. Sri Nityananda Prabhu personally worships Gora and is the worshipable Lord of the pure devotees. Although Sri Nityananda Ram, the Lord of Lords, is Vishnu himself, he is the servant and assistant in Swayam Rupa, Gora's magnanimous pastimes. Lord Nityananda serves his Lord in 10 forms. Even today, the deity of Nityananda is seen in Navadip and Jagannath Puri. Avijnata Tattva Dui Bhai Arabhakta Tatapi Kripaya Tattva Karina Suvyakta. Although the truths of the 2 brothers and their devotees are incomprehensible, they can be realized by the mercy of their lordships. Both lords, Gora and Nitai, as well as their pure devotees, are beyond the reach of material senses and eternally full of knowledge and bliss. Therefore, proud, mundane speculators who are simply interested in sense gratification cannot understand their real forms. They mercifully manifest their incomprehensible forms only to their fully surrendered servants who have taken shelter of them. Srila Kaviraj Goswami has prayed to Gora Nitai in the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita as follows. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, who are like the sun and moon. They have arisen simultaneously on the horizon of Goda to dissipate the darkness of ignorance and thus wonderfully bestow benediction upon all. Also in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita he writes, but these 2 brothers, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, dissipate the darkness of the inner core of the heart, and thus they help one meet the 2 kinds of Bhagavatas, persons or things in relationship with the personality of Godhead. The word Avijnata Tattva indicates that the truth of these two brothers is unknown to one with a materialistic enjoying mentality. In other words, they are beyond the jurisdiction of material knowledge or sense perception. Brahmadira Spurti Hoy Krishnara Kripaya Sarve Shastre Veda Bhagavata Egaya. The knowledge of personalities like Lord Brahma is enhanced by the mercy of Lord Krishna. This is confirmed in all the scriptures, such as the Vedas and the Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Prachoditayena Pura Saraswati Vitanvata Jasya Satim Shmitam Hridi Svalakshana Padurabhut Kilashata Same Rishinam Rishabha Prashidatam. May the Lord, who in the beginning of the creation amplified the potent knowledge of Brahma from within his heart and inspired him with full knowledge of creation in his own self, and who appeared to be generated from the mouth of Brahma, be pleased with me. Okay, I'm just going to read that again. May the Lord, who in the beginning of the creation amplified the potent knowledge of Brahma from within his heart and inspired him with full knowledge of creation and of his own self, and who appeared to be generated from the mouth of Brahma, be pleased with me. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Good morning. It's okay, you can go to Dandavat, Devi Shakti Didi. Shri Caitanya Bhagavata ki jai, Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai. I'm not sure where Haridev is, so we will just chant. We will chant Hari Haraya. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jaravaya Namaha Jaravaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Bidhari Gopinath Nada Namaha Shri Caitanya Nityananda Shri Harita Chandra Gadadhara Shivasari Gora Bhaktavinda Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Echai Goshai Kori Charana Vanda Sahavate Vinana Sabisha Pura Echai Goshai Jamo Itara Daha Sasabara Pararenu Mora Panchaga Sundar Charana Sevi Bhakta Shane Bas Janame Mora Abhilas Echai Goshai Jabe Bhaje Koila Bas Shara Krishna Nitya Lila Prakash Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan Shri Guru Vaishnava Pare Majai Aman Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyash Hari Ram Sankirtan Goe Narotamadas Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nitai Gora Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Nitai Gora Hari Bo Nitai Gora Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Nitai Gora Hari Bo Shapadikara Shishiguru Gaurchandra Giriraj Ju Ki Jai. Jai Shapadikara Shishiguru Ranga Gandharva Govinda Sundar Ju Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Ma Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Paramamsa Parajakacharya Varyasar Sata Shrishma Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Paramamsa Parajakacharya Varyasar Sata Shrishma Bhakti Rakshira Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Shri Rupani Guru Varga Ki Jai. Namachar Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Ganga Yamuna Ji Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Nitai Gopremanande. Hari Hari Bo.
Haribo. Bimala Krishna Prabhu was with you this morning.
Nice.
Says Braja Mohini Devi Dasi Ki Jai.